New post from Blog2Book. You have been writing a weekly blog post for at least 1 year, or have a stack of at least 52 blog posts. How do you go about turning this pile of posts into a book? My friend and client, MJ Kinman, is an expert quilter who takes separate and often disparate fabric squares and turns them into exquisite art quilts. You can see some of her quilts if you visit her website at www.mjkinman.com. In principle, this is much the same as our work in creating a book from blog posts. Taking disparate materials, which all have value for a single subject, and finding ways to stitch them together into an elegant whole. It doesn't happen by accident. There is a form and structure to MJ's craft, and in the same way, there can be a structure to the way you stitch your blog posts together into a book. Create a structure to the way you stitch your blog posts together into a book. Hashtag Blog2Book. Step 1. Ensure that your blog posts each reflect what you want your book to be about and follow a single unifying theme. If you've been working as an HR consultant who turned into a book coach, as I have, it's unlikely that you'll be able to, or would want to, turn your blog into a single cohesive book. But we assume that over the past 1 or 2 or more years, your blog posts have reflected the theme of your intended book. Then you can move forward. Scan the blog posts and see what themes emerge. If your blog posts have been consistent with your business theme, you should already know the general message of your book. Don't worry if you don't have a title in mind yet. Step 2. Catalog your blog posts. Review each of your blog posts. Catalog them on a spreadsheet with a name and number. You may want to add some contextual information if the title doesn't clearly indicate the message. If it helps, you might also add the number of words in each post. You should have at least 52 posts, but don't worry if you don't have them all right now. You can add to this list. Step 3. Review blog posts and eliminate the ones that don't fit. Most likely, not all of the posts you've written will be right for your book. Review posts 6 and 7 in this book to eliminate the posts from your blog that aren't right for your book. Some of your posts will be perfect, but others will be redundant, outdated, or ill-fitting. Some you just might not like. Some may not remain consistent with the voice you'd like to have in the book. When cutting, be ruthless but resourceful. Throw out what doesn't work, but keep ideas and idea fragments that might give you starting points for new posts. Step 4. Check all of your posts again to see if any fill obvious gaps. If you don't already have material for empty spots, try to write the headings for any post that would fill the spots. It's likely that your outline will have some holes. Review your existing blog posts and see if any will fit into the holes that you've created. If you need to write some new material, outline the headings. Don't write the entire blog post yet. You may decide after structuring the book that the titles or headings need to change. Step 5. Break the posts into appropriate sections. It's also likely that there will be a natural division of the posts into sections along your thesis. What makes sense for your content? While writing this book, I've grouped the blog post into process-oriented sections. Section 1 is about understanding your own reasons for converting a blog to a book. Section 2 is focused on planning that project, and so forth. My 5th book, The Truth About Hiring the Best, is written like a blog-to-book in that it contains 50-plus short chapters, each about the length of a blog post. Each short chapter was a standalone thought, but since the book followed the recruiting and selection process, it was divided into sections that outlined the employment process. The truth about identifying the best, the truth about recruiting the best, the truth about interviewing, the truth about the selection process, the truth about selection tools, and the truth about evaluating candidates and making the offer. If you choose to organize your posts seasonally within your book, the idea of 52 chapters is a good model. You could have 4 book parts, each representing a season, for example. Many authors will find that a thematic approach to grouping posts makes a lot of sense. If your book is on leadership, each of the sections might represent a different component or characteristic of leadership. For example, my colleague, Lois Kramer, helps speakers book more business, and she helps them achieve these 9 key results: increasing bookings, developing a memorable positioning statement, creating outstanding promotional materials, identifying target markets, qualifying prospects faster and easier, answering sales objections and closing more sales, finding the decision maker, developing other revenue streams, developing your sales speak, and gaining the competitive edge. Step 6. Write missing blogs. It's clear now that what you have and what you need to finish this book. So identify the headings for each hole so that you can write new material or repurpose old material for these sections. Step 7. Provide connective tissue. What does your book need for the pieces to sensibly stick together? Perhaps it only needs a short letter to the reader to explain how to best use the book. You might want to add introductions for each of the book sections, whatever guides the audience smoothly to the end. You'll also want to make your book a cohesive whole, so you may want to unify the language. Make sure, for example, that you always use the same keywords and phrases in the same way throughout, and with the same styling and spelling. Many authors will find that a thematic approach to grouping posts makes a lot of sense. Hashtag Blog2Book. Step 8. You now have a finished first draft. You still need to add missing pieces, letter to the reader about the author, connect with the author, and so forth. And you'll have to spend some time reviewing the work on your own before it goes to an editor. I like to print the entire book out and read it in one sitting to see how it reads all at once. You might also want to send the book to your editorial board before sending the book to your editor. See more on editorial boards in Chapter 45, and ensure all the missing pieces are intact by referring to Chapter 46. Activity. Create your to-do list for completing your Blog2Book book. Create a project plan for completing your project.